The god decides to turn Earth into a game, to keep humanity alive during the process. The god freezes time for every human on Earth, but somehow, mine keeps ticking. 500 years later, the game goes live. The Demon Clan players arrive, and legendary humans emerge. And I've had a 500-year head start on all of them. I've always been invisible. A whole month into the school year, my deskmate finally noticed I hadn't shown up. On a trip, the bus driver left me behind at a rest stop without a second thought. I'm sprinting after the bus when a voice booms out of nowhere. Time suspended. Everyone around me freezes. A golden light wraps around my entire body, granting absolute protection. I'm stunned. Then a game interface materializes right in front of me. It shows stats for skills, equipment, and health, all sitting at 0, completely untouched. The voice returns every 5 minutes after that, accelerating animal mutation and reproduction, introducing titan creatures, legendary beasts. Like a god, it's reshaping the entire Earth, one update at a time. The god doesn't even know how long this will take. He's frozen all of humanity. But because I've always been invisible, even the god overlooked me. My time was never stopped. And so I'm given the title, the Forgotten One, reducing my chances of being detected by other creatures by 75%. The so-called time freeze, it turns out, only applies to humans. Animals are still very much alive and moving. With time frozen, survival becomes the top priority. Supermarkets still have food, endless supply, but everything has an expiration date. So I start learning to hunt, farm, and survive. 2.5 years in, every last scrap of supermarket food has rotted away. I'm living entirely off hunting now, but the animals are mutating, growing stronger every single day. So I start hitting the weights daily, pushing my body to keep up. 3 years of weights and hunting until the god's voice returns. Certain caves across the Earth contain ancient scrolls left behind by weapon forgers. Mastering them can extend your lifespan. Without hesitation, I set out to find them. I'm worried I won't live long enough to see the game finished, because even 100 years is nothing to a god. The search takes 10 years. The environment grows harsher, and the creatures around me become increasingly strange. My daily training keeps pushing my power higher, but the lifespan counter on my game interface never lets me forget. Time is running out. In the 13th year after time stopped, I finally find it, a jade gate radiating 5 colors of light. This is the ancient forger's cave the god mentioned. And the way to open it? A tile-matching puzzle. The final score determines my inheritance completion rate. In other words, how many more years I get to live. I give it everything I have, but my score only earns me 35% inheritance. The game thoughtfully offers a pay-to-win system. Spend 99 to replay, or spend 49% to boost your inheritance completion rate by 1%. I'm left completely speechless. Seriously, God, even you're doing the pay-to-win thing? I want in, but I don't even know what the currency is yet, until I spot a glitch. I accidentally tap the button to spend 49 and boost my inheritance completion rate by 1%. My rate jumps to 36%, but nothing is deducted from my inventory. Nothing at all. It hits me. The god is still building this game step by step. The pay-to-win system is just a placeholder right now. It won't actually work until the proper conditions exist later, but I'm the man even God forgot to notice. I tap the button 64 times straight and push my inheritance all the way to 100%. A completion rate like this, only someone exploiting a glitch could ever pull it off. Once the game officially launches, this exploit will be patched and gone forever. After absorbing the full inheritance, I'm stunned. The skill description says every level of Chi cultivation adds 100 years to my lifespan. The level cap is 20. Max it out, and I gain 2,000 years of life. But Chi cultivation is far from easy. Each 2-hour session burns 1% of my life essence, and only earns 0.1% Chi cultivation experience. Even with unlimited life essence, it would take 1,000 sessions just to reach level 1, and each level after that costs even more, and life essence isn't unlimited. Lose more than 30%, and death isn't far behind. Recovery is slow and natural, unless you have a rare cultivation treasure to speed things up. Inside the cave, I find 100 portions of Snow Peak Lotus. Each one restores 10% of my life essence, but each portion costs 100 mana stones to redeem. I tap my finger. All 100 portions of Snow Peak Lotus drop straight into my inventory, free of charge. Just as I sit down, eager to begin, the system chimes in. This location is a sacred cultivation ground. Chi cultivation gets a 5% bonus here. For just 10 mana stones a day in rent, another glitch to exploit. I sit cross-legged, lock in, and start cultivating. 100 years pass just like that. The god's voice rings out again. New material added, mana stones. New system added, the shop. I knew it. I can't stay here any longer. Mana stones now exist in this world. The pay system is now fully active, and cultivating here means actually paying up. Over those 100 years, I burned through 50 portions of Snow Peak Lotus and pushed Chi cultivation to level 5. My appearance has stayed frozen at 18 or 19 years old. And it's not just my lifespan. My entire physical condition has been growing stronger through daily cultivation and training. The shop is overwhelming. Potions, food, divine pets, interstellar warships, all sharing one thing in common. They cost real cash. So I put cultivation on hold and go hunting for mana stones. 400 years of lifespan is enough to work with, and I'm absolutely drooling over what's in that shop. So I hit the road again. Along the way, I tame a panda as a companion. Not just any panda, a mutated Kung-Fu Panda. I tamed it because I wanted company on the road. But no creature can outrun time. Over 40 years of wandering, the panda slowly ages and passes away. I'm completely alone in the world again. I dive to the bottom of the ocean for a system quest, and the key to opening the Dragon Palace gate turns out to be completing a game of Tetris. I'm starting to see a pattern. Every hidden location, always a game to unlock it. Fortunately, over 100 years of chi cultivation has sharpened my reflexes to a razor's edge. The blocks are moving so fast I can barely see them, but I clear it. Inside the Dragon Palace, a scroll called Thunder Awakening rests on the throne. Claiming it requires surviving 3 minutes of lightning baptism. And right on cue, another glitch. I'm standing exactly where the lightning pool should be, but it hasn't been built yet. The game's logic is rigid though. Standing in the designated spot is enough to trigger the event. So when a 10-minute countdown appears above my head, I feel absolutely nothing. 10 minutes later, the system chimes. Hold on for 30 more minutes and you'll gain true lightning power. 30 minutes after that, last another hour, and you'll be rewarded with divine obliteration. Without this glitch, the only one who could survive that long in a real lightning pool would be the god of thunder himself. 1 hour later, I walk away with the ultimate scroll, divine obliteration. I raise my hand, focus my mind, and a thin arc of electricity crackles from my fingertip. Seawater that touches my skin gets electrolyzed instantly, split into hydrogen and oxygen on contact. The moment I gain this power, I pull up the electric motor blueprint from the system, build one, and mount it on my ship. The fundamental problem of running electrical devices, solved. I grab the exposed end of the engine's power cable and start generating electricity, but the engine doesn't budge. The electricity I'm producing is far too weak to power it. Storm God sounds impressive, but my Storm God skill is sitting at level 0. A level 0 skill is practically useless. It can't even start a motor, but I know exactly what this is. The grind from 0 to 1. Everyone has to go through it. Before I can set sail, I need to master this skill first. I burn through chi energy over and over to build up my Storm God proficiency. Luckily, my efficiency is high, probably because my chi cultivation is already at level 6. My chi reserves are full and high quality, so it only takes 3 days to hit level 1. But pushing from level 1 to level 2 takes a full 3 months. The higher the level, the slower the growth, same as any skill in the world. But level 2 Storm God is enough to fire up the engine. Sometimes I let myself imagine, if level 2 is already this powerful, what would level 20 feel like? Would I become a true god of lightning? But reaching level 20 would probably take tens of thousands of years. A dream just out of reach. I let out a sigh, then settle into a routine. Every morning I wake up early and train. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a few kilometers of freestyle swimming. Over 100 years, I've never once broken this routine. No ego, no shortcuts. I've reached a point where even I don't know how strong I actually am. It's become pure instinct at this point. I couldn't stop even if I tried, but it's not a bad habit. It's not one I resent either. I get to live life on my own terms, doing whatever I want, free from fame and ambition. I have to admit, it feels incredible, but it's a lonely kind of freedom. I'm desperate to reach the central continent. 10,000 AIs are running game tests there. They should be able to run, jump, and talk, which means I could finally have a real conversation and get some answers. So the moment Storm God hits level 3, I set sail at full speed. Every day, morning training, engine at full throttle, and chi cultivation through the night. Watching myself inch closer to the central continent on the map, the anticipation just keeps building. Driven by that anticipation, the ship charges south, and 3 years go by. Then one morning, 3 years later, land appears on the horizon. Full power output. The engine roars. The propeller spins like mad. The ship surges toward the shore. The Kung-Fu Panda waddles to the bow and stares at the shore with an expression I can't quite describe. Then, boom! The ship slams into the beach, carving a deep furrow through the sand. We made it. I leap off the ship, and the moment my feet hit the sand, I drop to my knees, running my hands across the ground, feeling every grain. The newly tamed Kung Fu Panda wobbles at the bow, hesitates for a moment, then takes the leap. It faceplants in the sand, but with all that padding, it doesn't feel a thing. If anything, it's excited, scrambling around like a big fluffy fool. It runs straight into me and tumbles over again. After a little stroll, it picks a tree and marks its territory. Most animals do this, mark a new place so they don't get lost. Watching this, one phrase comes to mind. I came, I saw, I urinated. I clear my throat. But right now, I'm itching to push south. I want to see what the central continent looks like after 30 years of operation. What exactly are these AIs like? Just then, the god speaks again. It's been a while. First test complete. All AIs are being recalled. New rare cultivation treasures have been added. New magic beasts have been added. Defeating them drops mana stones. I freeze. Then a portal tears open in the sky above the central continent. Beams of divine light burst from the ground and streak upward, one after another. A wave of sadness hits me. Did I miss them? But then, one more beam of light shoots upward. Halfway to the portal snaps shut. The beam loses its destination and falls back down. It's falling directly toward me. My heart jumps. One AI didn't make it back. My eyes are sharp. I watch it land in the jungle not far ahead. I have to get there. I grab the Kung Fu Panda and rush toward it, moving fast. But the panda is marking every tree as it runs and falling behind, crying out as if to say, "Aren't you worried about getting lost?" I'm not worried at all. I have a mini-map. I charge into the jungle, pushing forward and pull out my long unused creature scanner. The creatures here don't need thick fur. It's scorching on the central continent. A fluffy creature like the Kung-Fu Panda is already panting after just a few steps. Its coat is too thick, its heat dissipation too poor. This climate is brutal for it. This started back at sea. The closer we got to the central continent, the worse it became. So I built it a wooden tub to soak in. We keep moving, and at last, a figure appears ahead. I get closer and realize it's a girl, about 17 years old. The moment I see her, I'm completely frozen. I have never seen anyone this beautiful in my life. Flawless features, porcelain skin, silky hair, a slender frame. I can't find a single word to describe her. The only thing that comes to mind is, what the? First time in my life I felt genuinely inarticulate. But finding the right adjective isn't the priority right now. Saving her is. I pull up her stats through the health panel. AI unit, female, injured, breathing, faint, mobility, none, motor function, minimal, status, unconscious, it's clear, her injuries are severe. The panel shows a fracture in her left lower leg and abrasions all over her body. I don't move her right away. First I build a shelter, put together a bed, then carefully carry her inside. But I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never treated anyone before. In over 100 years, I've barely been hurt. My strength has kept me out of real danger. And the Forgotten One title means most creatures don't even notice me. So all I can do is set the conditions. Whether she pulls through is up to her. There is good news though. All 10 of her basic skills are at level 5. Once she wakes up, she can guide me through treating her herself. My medical skill is level 0, but I've always been a fast learner. Over 100 years ago, I was just a student. Nothing special, except I could learn anything. I get her settled, tell the Kung Fu Panda to stand guard, and head back to the ship to haul supplies. Food, materials, planks, oil lamps, everything I need. While I'm hauling things back, the panda stares at the girl with wide, curious eyes. She's only the second human it's ever seen. It leans in and sniffs her, and right then, the girl stirs awake, letting out a pained groan. The sound startles the panda so badly it bolts straight out the door. The girl struggles to sit up and freezes when she sees the big cowardly panda cowering outside. I walk back in to find the two of them just staring at each other. "You're awake?" I say, a little surprised. She stares at me with a puzzled look. I lean in, concern on my face. "Can you speak?" The girl tilts her head. "I am AI Unit 677. Have I arrived at the God Gate? Regarding the construction, medical, and beast taming skill tests, I have 3 items to report." "Hold on." I cut her off. "Check your own condition first." Unit 677 pulls up her own stats. Rest 70%, hunger 25%, hydration 30%, mobility none, unable to eat or drink, estimated time to death 37 days. I frown slightly. She really is an AI. No trace of human emotion anywhere in her delivery. "Don't worry about food or water. Figure out what you need to treat yourself, and tell me." Unit 677 runs a careful self-diagnostic, then speaks. Wrists, shoulders, and head require bandaging. Lower leg has a displaced fracture. Requires splinting. Full mobility expected to return in 10 weeks. I let out a breath of relief. No surgery. That's good. I follow her instructions step by step. It's tedious, but Unit 677 cooperates perfectly, and before long the bandaging is done. Unit 677 checks herself again. Splint quality rough. Replacement required in 10 days. "It's my first time, give me a break," I say quickly. Unit 677 doesn't register my expression at all. She continues, flat as ever. "Consuming medicinal herbs will accelerate recovery. Current hunger and hydration are below normal thresholds. Physical discomfort will follow. Just say the word when you're hungry or thirsty. I've already laid out food and water." Then I ask suddenly, "What did you see out there?" Unit 677 turns to look at me, eyes completely devoid of human feeling. "May I ask your unit number?" she begins. I roll my eyes. "I'm not an AI, I'm human." Unit 677 pauses, as if she can't quite process that. Unit 677 is out of immediate danger. As I treat her, I slowly realize she's not truly human. She looks human on the surface, but at her core she isn't. Her skin resembles human skin, but there are no pores. She can't sweat. Her blood isn't real blood. It's some unknown red liquid that doesn't function like blood at all. Unit 677 is a machine, yet she can be hurt, needs food and water, and can die. All designed to test whether humans can survive in this kind of world. I piece it all together, bit by bit, and in the end, all I can do is sigh. Unit 677 is still not truly human. I glance over at the drowsy Unit 677 and ask out of nowhere, "Hey, what's your name?" She stirs. "I am Artificial Intelligence Unit 677, under the jurisdiction of Unit 0. Stop. Let me give you a real name." I think for a moment. "I'll call you Lyra. Nickname, Lie." Lyra turns her head. Expression unchanged. "How should I address you?" The god must have programmed a deep-rooted drive to serve humans into their minds. She treats me with complete deference. I think for a moment, then ask, "What are humans to you?" Lyra answers obediently, "Humans are the children of the god. They are who we serve." I glance at Lyra. She looks completely human on the outside, but her thought patterns and behavior are pure machine. I honestly suspect there's a chip where her brain should be. "When does the second test start?" "The basic skills test has concluded," Lyra says. "The second test begins in 30 years. Have you heard of something?" called mana stones? Lyra doesn't hesitate. Mana stones can be obtained through mining or by defeating rare tier magic beasts and above. Our camp storage holds a large quantity. I jump on that immediately. How large? Mana stones serve no purpose for us, she says. Over 30 years, we've accumulated approximately 5,000. 3 seconds of silence. Then, pack up. We're leaving now. Lyra's leg is broken, but she can ride the Kung-Fu Panda. All I need is for her to lead me to their camp, and those 5,000 mana stones are mine. And the bigger news, mining and hunting magic beasts also drop mana stones. Lyra doesn't object. She seems completely indifferent to pain, even though that broken leg must be agony on the move, and the Kung Fu Panda is being a total goofball, waddling all over the place. But I'm dead set on those mana stones, and I only brought Lyra along for one reason: she knows the way. 5,000 mana stones could buy a rare item, stockpiles of Snow Peak Lotus, unlimited food, and most importantly, everything stored in the equipment panel never rots. Lyra settles onto the panda's back and begins giving directions, without a single complaint. She follows my instructions carefully, never steps out of line, never says more than necessary. When I ask something, she answers honestly and thoroughly, then goes quiet again. When I think about it, she's just like me, overlooked by the god, left behind by everyone else. If I hadn't found her, she would have just quietly died out there. Sometimes I ask her, "Can you smile?" She looks at me, and shows a row of perfect white teeth, dead eyes, no emotion, producing a sound that sends chills down my spine. Did she just terrify me? I press my hand to my forehead. That smile is genuinely disturbing. Lyra goes silent and turns her head away. She's offended. Through Lyra's health panel, I notice one extra stat that mine doesn't have: a mood value. The fact that it exists tells me the god actually accounted for human emotional well-being. Let's move. Take me to your camp. Lyra immediately starts navigating. Initiating route. Total distance, 7.6 kilometers. Estimated travel time, 5 hours. Dense forest ahead. Caution, risk of beast attacks. Lyra navigates. I handle protection. We set off. Turn right at the next junction. Watch your footing, slippery surface. Caution, venomous snakes concealed in the undergrowth. I joke, how about a song? Lyra responds instantly. Network connection failed. Unable to download audio. You're basically just a human-shaped computer, aren't you? Should I find you some Wi-Fi? That settles it. There's probably just a chip where her brain should be. I let out a quiet sigh. She looks so human, but she's just not. The whole journey, the only sound is Lyra's navigation prompts. Every creature we pass seems to sense my presence. None of them dare approach. We arrive in just 2 hours. The moment the camp's fences and walls come into view, Lyra announces, "Destination reached. Navigation complete." I glance at her. "You weren't putting that on the whole time, were you?" Lyra turns her head away. My first look at this camp, I'm genuinely stunned. I expected a primitive setup. Wooden huts, wooden fences, maybe a few crop patches. Instead, it's a fully functional modern settlement. Running water, electricity, air conditioning, heating. I step onto the limestone paved road as Lyra begins briefing me while we walk. It suddenly hits me what all those level 5 skills actually mean. She's an all-purpose AI. There is nothing she can't handle. I just realized I hit the jackpot. "Can you build a nuclear bomb?" I ask very carefully. Lyra glances at me. "First, gather the required materials. Then locate an intact nuclear warhead for scanning. Once the blueprint is obtained, collect sufficient materials and construct the device." I blink. That's it? But then again, this is a game. Nothing about it needs to make sense. Take me to the storage. I need to see those 5,000 mana stones. Lyra leads the way. We pass through the kitchen, rows of large 4-door refrigerators, a full lineup of electric appliances. Lyra speaks up. Cooking equipment is fully operational. Interface is human-friendly. Multiple cooking methods are supported. No issues detected. I suddenly want to know how many of those 10,000 AIs actually made it. After the first test, how many of you survived? Total test units, 10,000, Lyra reports. Survivors, 4,569. Killed by beasts, 2,357. Fire deaths, 384. 2,863. I listen with growing dread. Over 50% casualty rate. It makes sense. Evolution and mutation are accelerating, while humans remain fragile, completely outmatched. Not everyone has the Forgotten One title like I do. Not everyone has a 100-year head start on the rest of the world, and this is only 100 years in. By the time the real tests end and the game goes live, will humanity even survive? Lyra leads me to the storage area. It's sorted by category. One refrigerated section holds only food, another holds miscellaneous items. An open area holds rocks and raw minerals, unremarkable at a glance, until the system pops up, unclaimed mana stones detected. Collect? Collect! This is exactly why I came! The words barely leave my mouth and the entire pile vanishes into my inventory. Watching my mana stone count shoot up, I don't even know where to start spending. I turn to Lyra. You mentioned mining and killing rare tier beasts drops mana stones? There are 3 methods, Lyra says. First, mining. Second, defeating rare tier magic beasts or higher. Third, completing specific quests. Any rare tier beasts nearby? Lyra replies flatly. Players are required to explore and discover independently. Lyra and I settle into the camp for now. I find clothing in the storage. Made from advanced synthetic fabric, durable, excellent insulation, great moisture wicking, and actually stylish. For the first time in over 100 years, I get to take a proper bath, trim my hair, and put on clothes that actually look like they belong to a civilized person. Looking at myself in the mirror, I don't even know where to begin. But when I go back to find Lyra, she asks who I am. Only a god-made AI could pull off a joke like that. It takes her a moment to register it's me. She studies me for a moment. You are indeed human, not a feral being evolved over the past 100 years. So all along you thought I was some kind of caveman? I checked the storage earlier. Food is all preserved, every appliance running on its own. And if anything breaks, Lyra knows how to fix it. I can actually relax here. But survival was never my problem. The real challenge is surviving forever. My current lifespan sits at 688 years. Level 6 Chi Cultivation gave me 600 of those. Sounds like a lot, but I've already burned through a sixth of it. Fortunately, I can spend mana stones on rare cultivation treasures to speed up my progress, or find a sacred cultivation ground to train in. Right now, what I need most is mana stones, and I need them in bulk. There are only two reliable sources right now, mining and hunting rare tier magic beasts. But rare tier beasts are still genuinely rare, likely because the god hasn't finished the frozen time phase yet, so there's no reason to flood the world with high tier beasts. In game development, you build the framework first, get the game running, then worry about polish and details. I get it. So for now, I hunt what's available and keep my eyes open for anything rare tier. Then, on the 5th day at camp, the system blares an alert. Beast Frenzy event triggered. Beast Frenzy. My blood runs cold. I know exactly what this is. Hunt too many creatures in one area, and you trigger a Beast Frenzy. I track down Lyra immediately. How many times has this happened before? This is the third occurrence, she says. First event lasted 3 days, deaths 867. Second event lasted 10 days, deaths 674. I wince. This is on me. I overlooked this completely. Overhunting triggers a frenzy, and when it does, every creature in the area turns on humans. Lions, tigers, leopards, even deer, boars, and venomous snakes, all of them going completely berserk. And if there are any rare tier beasts nearby, they won't be holding back either. Lyra notices my expression. You have 3 options. First, flee. Second, hide and wait for the event to pass. Third, fight and kill every creature that comes. And what about you? I ask. Lyra pauses. She hadn't even thought about herself. Why would she? She's just a test unit. If she dies, she dies. What does it matter? But because I'm a player, she has to respond. She finally says, network unavailable, query failed. My eye twitches. Wait, you can connect to a network? And while I'm at it, can you download videos? You're basically a tutorial NPC, aren't you? The kind that answers every question with a smile. Lyra stays quiet for a moment, choosing not to answer. She redirects to option 3. I recommend this player proceed to storage and equip weapons. Then activate the auto turrets via the central control room. Note, auto turrets do not distinguish friend from foe. The camp has 4 exits, each equipped with auto turrets. The south and north gates also have heavy load traps. I nod, tell the Kung-Fu Panda to hold its position, and head straight for the storage. Lyra is proving useful. She's a direct source of game information, and I can learn from her. Medical skills, research, things I know nothing about. I'm not panicking. I've been through a beast frenzy before. Last time I hit it out. This time I can't hide. I need to protect Lyra. And honestly, I want to see what I'm actually capable of. Ever since Storm God hit level 2, my overall rank has been sitting at rare tier. How strong is rare tier? I genuinely don't know. Nothing has pushed me to my limit yet. I strap on the power bracers, hoist Orin's shield onto my back, and grab a bow, arrows, a sword, and a blade from the storage. I take my position at the south gate. No running this time. I want to test myself. Bow and shield on my back, blade in my left hand, sword in my right, standing guard at the gate. I activate the turrets on the east, west, and north, but leave the south turret off. From the southern jungle, something is coming. A rising wall of sound. The first to burst from the tree line is an elk, eyes blazing red, locking onto me and charging without hesitation. Behind it, the rest of the herd, then 2 cheetahs, then a stampede of rhinoceroses. Every single one of them has one objective: kill the human standing in front of them. I take a slow breath and charge straight in. Over 100 years of unbroken daily training. Over 100 years of nightly chi cultivation. Add in level 2 Storm God. I've reached a level of power that's genuinely frightening. I just don't know it yet. My speed is nearly invisible to the naked eye. My strength surpasses 10 elephants combined. My combat instincts outclass any hunter alive. This is what a 100-year head start looks like. Combine that with weapons forged by human ingenuity, and my combat power dwarfs these frenzied animals by a factor of 10 or more. One kick. A cheetah flies 30 meters through the air. This isn't hunting. This is a slaughter. The Beast Frenzy event is a punishment for overhunting, and a check on animal overpopulation at the same time. Only the strong survive an event like this. I loose an arrow. A hunting hound trying to slip through the south gate drops with an arrow through its skull. Then from the south, a roar that shakes the ground. Every animal freezes mid-step, then begins retreating. The ground keeps trembling. Something massive rises behind me. Over 20 meters tall, built like a gorilla, but with 4 arms. 4-armed gorilla. Tier. Rare. Status. Frenzied. A rare tier magic beast. Finally. A flicker of electricity crosses my eyes. Arcs of current crackle along the ground beneath my feet. The four-armed gorilla beats its chest, bellows, and charges. Two arms reach for me. The other two lock together and slam down like a wrecking ball. My gaze sharpens. I drop the blade and sword. I clench my fist and drive it straight up into the falling blow. A thunderous boom. Three fists collide at once. The shockwave kicks up a wall of wind. Leaves scatter across the ground. My clothes snap like a flag in a storm. Then I hear it. A crack. Clean and unmistakable. Bone fracturing. The moment that sound rings out, the four-armed gorilla stumbles back, two of its arms hanging limp at its sides. Over 100 years of push-ups, not a single one wasted. How strong am I? Very. But I've never had a clear sense of it. No reference point, no one who could actually match me. But I haven't just been ahead of humans. I've been 100 years. Ahead of every living thing on this planet. The rate of evolution and mutation across all of Earth has been accelerating. And I'm part of that world too. I've been evolving and mutating right alongside everything else. On top of that, I've trained every day, and hunting for survival has constantly sharpened my instincts and refined my combat technique over and over again. So compared to this four-armed gorilla, I'm in a completely different league. In nature, when an animal encounters a predator stronger than itself, most will flee, but not today. They're all frenzied. Despite everything I've shown them, they keep coming, mindlessly, relentlessly, because this is the god's design and the god doesn't make mistakes. There was once a species of rodent that would engage in mass suicide once their population hit a critical density. Scientists never found an explanation. But standing here right now, I understand exactly why. It's the god's design, a mechanism to balance nature. Wolves cull the sheep, tigers cull the deer, reproduction rates have surged, so the beast frenzy mechanic kicks in, to cut down animal numbers and human numbers alike. Meanwhile, those with potential, human or beast, are forced to grow faster, push harder, and break through their limits. Likewise, a four-armed gorilla would never settle for an ordinary mate, so apex creatures reproduce slowly. That's the law of nature. The four-armed gorilla pounds its chest with its two unbroken arms and roars at me. My eye twitches. I pick the blade and sword back up. That punch was just a test, and unfortunately, even this thing hasn't pushed me to my limit. I still can't measure what I'm truly capable of, but the beast frenzy needs to end. So now, it's time to stop holding back. The four-armed gorilla's eyes burn red. One last roar, and it charges. Behind it, a wave of frenzied creatures surges forward, and standing between all of them and this camp, just me, because I'm rare tier. I raise the blade and sword and move in. My technique has evolved beyond what I knew before. Every fight before this was one-on-one. Overpowered. One hit, done. But this is different, because this is the god's game, and to the god, both animals and humans are expendable. Die and you're gone. If you can't adapt to brutality, brutality will erase you. That is the law of nature, and none of us can escape it. The fact that I'm even thinking about this mid-fight tells you exactly how much trouble I'm in. None. I'm even going easy on some of them, knocking them out instead of finishing the job. I can't keep racking up kills. Overhunting is what started this. The last thing I need is for this to end and immediately trigger a fourth beast frenzy. That would be a never-ending nightmare. So I knock them out, break their legs if I have to, and only kill when there's no other choice. Mercy like this is only possible when you're fighting with room to spare. Sounds noble. Really, I just don't want more headaches. But then three rare tier magic beasts crash through three separate gates, smashing the auto turrets, destroying the traps, and pouring inside. They move as if they know exactly where Lyra is hiding, heading straight for her. My brow furrows. This is the first moment I've actually felt the pressure. Defending is so much harder than attacking. I spin around, draw my bow, and let the storm energy build inside me until it wraps itself around the arrow. I release. The arrow screams forward. The instant it leaves my fingers, the lightning detonates. The wooden shaft splinters to dust, but the steel tip keeps flying, carrying every last volt of that terrifying charge. A lightning bolt in the shape of an arrow. It punches into the shoulder of a massive rhinoceros, and the impact is like a direct lightning strike. The rhino gets blasted 15 meters back, half its body obliterated. But the moment I fire, the four-armed gorilla sees its opening and lands a full-force punch straight into me. I take the hit and go airborne, sailing 30 meters and crashing straight through a brick wall. The wall collapses in a roar of debris, burying me completely. But the four-armed gorilla doesn't stop. It charges in, locks its two remaining arms together, and drives them down toward the rubble pile where I'm buried. It's not being ruthless for the sake of it. It knows I'm still alive. The beast frenzy has given them something extra, the ability to sense a human's exact location and condition. This mutated four-armed gorilla may not understand mercy, but facing a threat like me, it knows better than to show any, so it presses the advantage. The fist comes down, and then, a hand shoots out from the rubble, catching the blow dead. The air shudders, dust explodes in every direction. I rise from the debris, not a speck of dust on me, my entire body sheathed in a faint, glowing barrier. I should have realized sooner. I hold the gorilla's arm without any strain whatsoever. Did I really think chi cultivation was just a lifespan extender? What's wrapping around me right now is chi energy drawn from every cell in my body, pushed outward. A chi burst, chi energy just like lightning. It can be weaponized, and my chi cultivation is level 6. higher than Storm God itself. I clench my free fist, chi energy coils around it like a second skin, and I throw the punch. The four-armed gorilla's midsection caves in. The entire creature launches backward 30 meters, snapping 3 or 4 massive trees on its way down. It hits the ground and doesn't move. I step out of the rubble slowly. The pressure radiating off me is overwhelming. The chi emanating from my body burns like an invisible flame. A line comes to me. The power of a skill lies not in the skill itself, but in the one who wields it. But right now, philosophy can wait. There are still frenzied animals to deal with. I push off the ground and launch forward like a fired arrow, heading straight for where Lyra is hiding. The first thing in my path is a titan serpent, eyes blazing red, lunging the moment it sees me. Its massive jaw snaps toward me, reeking of blood, but I'm already faster. Chi burst active. My strength, speed, and physical durability multiply several times over. The serpent strikes, but I'm already above its head. I bring my fist down. Boom. The serpent is driven into the limestone floor, carving out a crater. It doesn't move again. One rare tier left, a massive wild boar, eyes blood red, charging straight toward where Lyra is. And right then, the Kung-Fu Panda charges out, planting itself directly in the boar's path. It's not small, but compared to that boar, the size difference is enormous. My chest tightens. I might not make it in time. But then, Lyra steps out the door on her crutch, a bolt-action rifle materializing in her hands. She raises it, tilts her head, lines up the shot, and pulls the trigger. Bang! The shot rings out. The boar's right eye erupts in a burst of red. The boar lets out an agonized shriek and collapses right in front of the Kung-Fu Panda. At this moment, I've already drawn my bow and nocked an arrow. I pull the bowstring taut, and both lightning force and chi spiral together around the arrow. The two energies converge at a single point and instantly explode beyond control. The steel tip screams forward, twin coils of chi and lightning spiraling in its wake. The two forces detonate again and again, each blast driving the arrow faster and faster. The massive boar staggers back to its feet, shakes its head, and charges at Lyra once more. But in that very instant, the chi-charged arrow tears through the air and buries itself deep inside the boar. Boom! Lightning and chi detonate as one, and the boar is blown apart in a shower of flesh and blood. I let out a long breath. All 4 rare-tier beasts wiped out. Then I notice the bolt-action rifle in Lyra's hands and I blurt out, "The 98K?" Lyra shoots me a sideways glance and says, "This is the M1903. I earned it as a mission reward. I don't know my guns. I really need to stop talking before I embarrass myself further." Lyra picks up a stick from the ground and holds it out toward me. "So what's this? Also a 98K? I'm immediately annoyed. I do know some things, okay? And wait, don't tell me you actually time-traveled here from over 100 years ago, like a soul jumping into a robot body or something. How would you even know that joke?" Lyra turns away, raises the rifle, aims at something in the distance and pulls the trigger. A crocodile crawling up from the riverbank has its skull punched clean through. I freeze. She didn't deny it. Now I think I understand why every other AI went back through the God Gate, and you're the only one who didn't. I jog after her and press her. "Come on, just tell me, did you time travel here?" Lyra's face stays completely blank as she replies, "Network connection failed. Unable to search query." I knock another arrow and stand behind Lyra, picking off the beasts that keep charging toward us. The rifle in Lyra's hands is devastating. Nearly every shot turns a beast's head into pulp. She keeps firing that terrifyingly powerful rifle, but her right shin is fractured, and every shot's recoil forces her to stumble back whether she wants to or not. I plant myself behind her, so every time she fires, she slams back into me. We keep firing, and with Kung Fu Panda joining the fight, the tide of beasts slowly thins out. When it's finally over, Lyra speaks up. "Beast Frenzy Event Number 3, concluded. Casualties, 0. 4 rare-tier monsters appeared. All 4 have been eliminated." I glance over at Lyra, and notice her left shin is trembling. With her right leg broken, her left leg is carrying every pound of her weight alone. Even so, Lyra grips her crutch with quiet determination and slowly makes her way inside. I know basic decency. I rush over to help, and Lyra immediately dismisses the rifle back into her equipment slot. She says, completely deadpan, "Don't even think about it. The Beast Frenzy event is finally over." This one was mercifully short. To prevent disease from spreading, Kung Fu Panda and I haul the animal carcasses into the storage room to freeze. The knocked out animals wake up normal and bolt away. The ones with broken legs are still frenzied. So I knock them out again, and Lyra tends to their wounds. The ones that can't be saved. The ones that would never survive in the wild, we keep at camp. The pheasants lay eggs, the goats give milk. Not entirely useless, I suppose. Once everything is cleaned up, I find my thoughts drifting back to Lyra's rifle. I've never once held a real gun in my life, and the urge to fire a couple of rounds is too strong to ignore. So I try my luck and ask Lyra if I can borrow it. Lyra had said she wouldn't hand over a rifle she earned through a mission. But when I ask for just 2 shots for fun, she hands it over anyway. Without a scope, my aim is terrible. I'm dead set on a red flower. And I put a round through a dead tree 12 meters away. I'm baffled. What's with that tree? Is it a magnet for bullets? Lyra watches for a few seconds, then quietly takes her rifle back without a word. I pull the 8x scope from my equipment slot and hold it out to her. Lyra takes it with a flicker of surprise, then snaps it onto the rifle with practiced ease. Then she says, "Name what you want and we'll trade." I think it over carefully. And honestly, I can't think of anything I need. Still, I ask, can you cook? Raised pork belly, twice cooked pork, stir-fried eggs and tomato, chicken and mushroom stew. I'm rattling off dishes and practically drooling. Lyra replies, cooking level 5. Total of 123 dishes on record. What would you like? I'm absolutely starving for it. Dish names just keep pouring out of me. Lyra cuts me off. Can you even finish all that? I think for a moment. Stir-fried eggs and tomato then. Lyra without mercy, no tomatoes. I stare blankly. I try again. Chicken and mushroom stew? Lyra, stone-faced, no mushrooms. How is there nothing? Fine, I'll just go check what we actually have in the kitchen. I head to the kitchen. The chilled vegetables are almost nothing, but the meat selection is surprisingly decent. Alongside all the meat, there's a big crate of eggs, some milk, and basics like potatoes, chives, and flour. Lyra may know over 100 dishes, but there's simply nothing here to work with. We make do with what we have. I can't cook, but I can run a rice cooker, and I can wash and chop. Lyra handles the stir-frying and boiling. Her leg is injured, and she can't stand for long, but she stays on her feet to cook anyway. After a while, the meal is finally ready. Lyra delivers her verdict. Score above 75. Rating, good. Then she eyes the rice I cooked and adds, rice score below 60. Rating, crude. The rice is a disaster. It really is. But right now, I honestly don't care. Over 100 years, and I'm finally sitting down to a home-cooked meal. I stare at those simple dishes and feel something I can barely put into words. I expected to tear into the food without thinking. Instead, I find I can't even lift my chopsticks. Sorry, I haven't used chopsticks in over 100 years. Takes a moment to get back into it. I take one bite of each dish, then stop. I thought I'd be shoveling food into my mouth nonstop, but I find I can't bring myself to do it. For one thing, I'm not even hungry. For another, I'm scared. If I eat too fast, it'll be gone, and then it's over. That's when Lyra asks quietly, does it not taste good? She saw me put down my chopsticks and assumed the food wasn't to my liking. It's incredible. My voice catches in my throat, and my fingers tremble slightly. I keep clumsily pushing food into my mouth with the chopsticks, mumbling between bites. I'm just scared that if I eat too fast, it'll all be gone. Lyra watches me in silence. She hasn't touched her chopsticks. Because this was agreed to be a trade, I eat slowly. I treasure every bite of this meal, letting each mouthful linger. Because I'm terrified that after this, there may never be another. I'm scared I'll never again sit down to food that carries this much feeling. But of course, that worry is completely unnecessary because Lyra has to eat too. When she cooks for herself, would she just naturally make a portion for me too? Of course not. The next day, Lyra cooks without making anything for me. I'm genuinely annoyed. Why isn't there a portion for me? Lyra looks up, genuinely puzzled. You never told me you wanted to eat. It hits me immediately. Lyra has no concept of basic social norms. She was an AI before she ever met me. I ask right away, so before you all went back through the God Gate, did everyone just cook for themselves? Lyra answers, our responsibilities were divided by module. Meals were handled by a designated individual. Construction, hunting, repairs, crafting, farming, taming, each handled by a different person. Division of labor. I ask, what if the hunter died? Lyra answers without missing a beat, responsibilities would be reassigned. I'm quiet for a moment. Then, what about the one who died? The deceased AI would return to the god's embrace. I tense up. I look at Lyra, pulling up her health panel. Her age and lifespan are right there in plain view. Lyra, age 30, lifespan 45. Your lifespan is only 45 years. What do you plan to do with what's left? I ask. Lyra answers, wait for the second test, 30 years from now. Conduct testing according to the god's instructions, then return through the god gate to report the findings. I frown. You guys only have 15 years of lifespan left. How are you supposed to last another 30? Lyra replies. After submitting our data through the god gate, we would be placed into the stasis until the second test. But you were forgotten, I say. Lyra pauses, then says, at the time I was carrying out an important mission and missed the return window. I jump on it immediately. What mission? Lyra gives me a long look, then says, related content is not permitted to be disclosed to players. I say, I already know anyway. The AIS's mission was to test the game, first to see whether humans could survive in an environment like this, and second to hunt for bugs. The god wouldn't want players exploiting glitches to power level after all. A sudden guilt creeps over me. I never told Lyra that I exploited a bug myself. Lyra says, I need to wait until the next test is complete before returning through the god gate. I have critical information to report to the god. I ask at once, is going back through the god gate the only way to report to the god? Lyra continues, there is one other way, death. When I die, the god receives all of my memories. But you were overlooked by the god. I look at Lyra and a crucial realization suddenly hits me. If Lyra dies, the god gets her memories, and will know that I was never placed into the stasis. Would the god erase everything I've worked for? Or simply erase me? Lyra absolutely cannot die. From what I've seen, Lyra doesn't seem to care whether she lives or dies. I ask her, are you afraid of death? Lyra shakes her head at my question. I don't understand what fear is. I press on, can you practice chai cultivation? If she can, she could use it to extend her lifespan. And if the next test ends, with her unable to return through the god gate, the threat to me dissolves entirely. But Lyra's answer catches me off guard. I am an AI. I have no soul. I can practice chi cultivation, but I cannot achieve spirit refinement and void return. I exhale with relief. Chai cultivation is enough, at least it buys time. And she mentioned spirit refinement and void return. Could those be the stages of cultivation that come after chi? She mentioned the soul, but I don't dwell on it. I tell her, once your leg heals, we head out to find a cave. Lyra neither refuses nor reacts with any excitement, as if what I've said has nothing to do with her at all. We wait a full month, and after that month, Lyra's leg has healed completely. I can barely wait to take her out there, to find a cave, to find an inheritance, and even if Lyra refused, I would force her to practice chi cultivation. As it turns out, Lyra says, chi cultivation is part of the second test's content. I will be conducting testing on it. Hearing that, I breathe easy. I bring Lyra and Kung-Fu Panda along and we set out heading south. The northern reaches of the central continent had already been largely explored by the AIs, but they found no caves. I have no intention of wasting any more time here. South is where we're going. And right then, the god's voice rings out, new addition, cliffs. At the base of cliffs, there is now a chance for treasures and scrolls to appear. New addition, dragon's hoard. From this point forward, dragon lairs will contain a dragon's hoard, including weapons, scrolls, tools, potions, gold coins, and mana stones. The first epic tier creature has appeared. New addition, the divine realm and the divine race, an intelligent species that inhabits the divine realm. I listen carefully as the god runs through each update and change to the game, and I genuinely cannot figure out what kind of game the god is trying to build here. At this rate, when the stasis finally ends, humanity is going to be in serious trouble, probably because scroll drop rates were too low. Several new ways to obtain them have been added. That's good news for Lyra and me at least. We pack enough supplies and push south, and we walk for 10 years. The reason we finally stop is a system alert that comes out of nowhere. Fatal illness detected. The warning blares in my ears like a death knell. I freeze, then check my own health panel. Nothing. No illness. I pull up Lyra's panel next, also clean. Today, Lyra and I had gone out to hunt, leaving Kung-Fu Panda behind to guard our gear. He was getting on in years, no longer strong enough to hunt. The moment I realize neither Lyra nor I is the problem, I sprint back to camp. When I find him, Kung-Fu Panda can no longer get up. He's collapsed on the ground, gasping, his face twisted in obvious pain. I check his health panel immediately. Fatal illness, heart disease, severe. Lyra arrives right behind me and examines him. She says, he's too overweight, arterial hardening and blockage, increased cardiac load, severe damage, and most critically, he is simply too old. I frown. Can he be saved? Lyra says, surgery is required, but we have no equipment. And my medical level isn't high enough to perform it. We'd need a skilled veterinarian. Humanity is still in the stasis. Where on earth would we find a skilled veterinarian? Then an idea strikes me. I turn to Lyra. Can a panda take medicine made for humans? I have the shop, and that changes everything. All I need to do is spend some mana stones on a heart treatment. Problem solved, right? I open the shop and search. The medicine category is enormous. Options at every price point. The world's Radiance Elixir, which cures all diseases, costs 1.5 million mana stones per dose. On the other end, the CardioCalm tablet, a basic heart medicine, goes for 5 mana stones a box. Lyra advises, I have no expertise in cardiac treatment, but I recommend you don't scatter your purchase. Pick one medicine and focus on it. I nod. I know as well as anyone that medicine isn't something to take carelessly, and this stuff was made for humans, not pandas. What it'll do to an animal, I honestly have no idea. There are pricier options, but flashy and overpriced isn't the answer. I'd rather go with something solid and straightforward. I buy one perfect heart men pill, 500 mana stones for a single dose. The description says it can revive any patient suffering a cardiac emergency. Revive, not cure. A full cure is way out of my price range. The dirt cheap options aren't worth the risk. I try to give Kung-Fu Panda the perfect heart men pill, but he can't swallow anything at this point. I have to pry his mouth open by force, push the pill down his throat, and pour water in after it before he finally swallows. It's worth a shot, and after that, it's up to Kung-Fu Panda and fate. I take out the Doran Stone and place it on him. But sadly, it does nothing useful here. The Doran Stone's description is clear, it only partially restores vitality. That's not what's killing him. Kung-Fu Panda's breathing grows more ragged. His eyes are shut, his front paws clenched into fists, his face tight with pain. Lyra stays by his side, placing her hand over where his heart would be. His heartbeat is so faint that it could stop at any moment and no one would be surprised. There is nothing I can do. All I can do is wait. Kung-Fu Panda is leaving. He's lived a long life. Even if he makes it through tonight, the end is coming regardless. Humans can extend their lives through chi cultivation, but animals have no way to receive an inheritance, unless they somehow stumble upon a cave entrance and then manage to learn how to read. I sit down beside him and keep running my hand through his fur. He really is old. His coat has lost its color, and his eyes have lost their light. He keeps gasping, keeps enduring the pain pressing in from his chest. He lets out one moan after another, each one quieter than the last. He may not make it. Lyra strokes his fur too. Over these 10 years she has changed, she grows more human with each passing day. I check our provisions, we're running low, we have to hunt. But the area is barren. Almost no wildlife anywhere. Hunting has become incredibly difficult. My chi cultivation level has reached 7, which has drastically reduced my need for food. But Lyra and Kung-Fu Panda still need to eat. Whatever happens, life goes on. Wildlife is scarce here because we're in the middle of a desert. unbearable heat by day, bone-cutting cold by night. Finding food is hard enough, but even water is scarce. The reason we pushed in this direction is a mountain in the south, one that pierces the clouds. The central continent was formed when countless land fragments collided and fused together, and where tectonic plates met, mountains were pushed up, forming that towering peak that seems to tear through the sky above the central continent. But being able to see it doesn't mean it's close. We've been walking for 25 years and we still haven't reached its base. Today's hunt came up empty. I make it back to camp before nightfall. Lyra is still tending to Kung-Fu Panda. I tell her, "I'm sorry, there's nothing out there. We have to move." Lyra looks at Kung-Fu Panda, then asks with a quiet sadness, "Are we giving up on him?" I frown. "I'll carry him. We need to get out of this desert, fast." Kung-Fu Panda's condition has been deteriorating. The signs were there days ago, but there's no way I'm leaving him behind. If I do, he dies faster. I hoist him onto my back. We leave tonight. Even though the journey won't help his condition. But without enough food, none of us will survive either. Kung-Fu Panda keeps getting worse. On the third day, his heart suddenly stops. I set him down immediately and, following Lyra's instructions, use an electric shock to stimulate his heart. Fortunately, the skill has reached level 3. My control has improved dramatically, and it's just enough to restart his heart. Once his heart is beating again, his condition stabilizes slightly. The perfect heart mend pill must be kicking in. He can even take a few steps on his own now, and manages to eat a little. I allow myself a breath of relief. But the next morning, he collapses again. This time, his panel reads, "Near death." Lyra is quiet for a long moment, then says to me, "He may not make it." I lift him back onto my shoulders and say, "We keep moving, don't give up hope." Lyra and I press on, and 3 days later, we finally walk out of the desert. Kung-Fu Panda is still hanging on, but he's in agony. And watching him, I almost can't stop myself from ending his suffering. But it's not my right to make that choice. This is the first time I truly feel the grief that comes with living too long. Everything and everyone I grow close to will eventually leave me behind. The safest approach would be to never get close to anything at all. Stay alone forever, and you never have to carry this kind of pain. Lyra and I continue south, toward that mountain rising above the clouds on the horizon. I've named it the Sky Spire, the tallest and most prominent peak on the entire central continent. Ever since I first spotted it, I've been walking toward it, but the Sky Spire is impossibly far away. At least we've made it through the desert. Out here on the grassland we find a stream. But the next morning, Kung-Fu Panda is gone. He lies still beside the stream, his chest no longer rising. Lyra and I don't need to check his pulse or his breath. The health panel tells us everything. Species panda, sex, male, status, deceased. This is the one enemy no living thing in nature has ever beaten, death. I had hoped Kung-Fu Panda would live out his natural lifespan, but a sudden fatal illness struck him down before his time, and neither Lyra nor I could do a thing about it. In the end, I shake my head, and we set off again, just the two of us. I look at Lyra and ask, "Lyra, are you afraid of death?" Lyra looks back at me, clearly unable to understand why I keep returning to this question. But she answers patiently, "I don't understand what fear is. My mission is to test the game, until death." Lyra has 5 years left. I can only hope that within those 5 years I find a cave, and an inheritance. I keep moving with Lyra, and another 3 years pass. Over those 3 years I grow increasingly restless, though sometimes I try to talk myself down. Maybe the god doesn't even care about a nobody like me. Maybe my time was just quietly paused, and I'll be resumed once the game is finished. It's only now that I come to realize something deeply troubling. Everything I have was given to me by the god, and if the god decides to take it all back, I have no power to resist, unless I become something on the god's level, or beyond it. I tuck that quiet wish away somewhere deep inside, then continue down the road toward the cave I'm searching for. In the final 2 years, Lyra's body begins to steadily break down. She develops dementia. It causes her to sometimes stop mid-step and sink into a memory without warning. Unless I call out to her loudly, she won't come back on her own. Her 10 base skill levels begin to drop, falling from 5 down to 3 one by one. Lyra's appearance hasn't changed, but the symptoms make one thing clear. She is running out of time. Seeing Lyra like this, I can't help but feel the weight of it. Whatever she has walked beside me for 7 or 8 years. Watching them leave, one by one, it sits heavy in my chest. I suddenly think of my title, the Forgotten One. Being forgotten by the god is bad enough, but why add a title like that on top of it? Right now, though, it fits perfectly. In the end, I will always be alone. The road of endless life stretches on, and only solitude walks it with me. In the 5th year of the journey, Kung-Fu Panda dies. In the 8th year, I stop, because Lyra collapses. She is struck by dementia, osteoporosis, deafness, cataracts, and more, all at once. She can no longer keep up. At this point, all I can do is shake my head and mutter, "The god really thought of everything, didn't they?" The full range of symptoms that come with old age. Apparently that's part of the test too. Watching Lyra draw closer to death, I can't help but think, if Lyra goes, I'm probably next. The moment the god gets Lyra's memories, the god will know I was never placed into the stasis, and will deal with me accordingly. In the name of balance, the god might wipe my memories and everything I've gained, or simply erase me entirely. Either outcome is one I cannot accept. I've spent so long watching others die, and now it may be my turn, What does that even feel like? I can't help but laugh bitterly at myself. I build a wooden cabin, get Lyra settled inside, and wait for the day to come. Black crows land on the dead branches outside the cabin and cry without stop, as if counting down to a death. The next morning, Lyra is gone. Unit 677 has fully returned. The following is a 4-point report on issues identified during the first test. First, construction blueprints require excessive materials, and successfully built electrical devices are of poor quality. They break down frequently without cause. Second, plant mutation rates have accelerated. Seeds from crops beyond the 3rd generation will become unusable. Third, creature mutation is accelerating. Conventional cold weapons are no longer effective against rare tier monsters and above. Fourth, the dread ants are evolving at an alarming rate. They have already developed a rudimentary civilization equivalent to the human Stone Age. Unit 677 returned upon death, submitted her report in full, and then entered the stasis. The god only retrieved the key information, not the entirety of Unit 677's memories. That's not surprising. 30 years of memories is an enormous amount, and most of it is useless. Think about it. Yesterday I had stir-fried eggs with chives, and the day before I got startled by a stray dog. What use are memories like that? On top of that, over 5,000 AIs died during this test, and reading through every single one of their memories would be an enormous waste of time. The god wouldn't bother. So once again, I slipped through the cracks. Once again, the god overlooks me. Or perhaps Unit 677 deliberately kept me hidden. There's no way to know. Either way, I survive. When Lyra vanished and returned through the god gate, no punishment came for me. The god seems to have overlooked me once again. I don't know any of this yet. All I know is that after finding Lyra gone, something shifts profoundly inside me. I know full well, if the god truly received Lyra's memories, then the god will find a way to deal with me. The most straightforward method would be to erase me entirely. That thought weighs on me like a stone. When I eat, I wonder, could this be my last meal? When I hunt, I think, could this be the last time I ever hunt? When I build a fire, the thought comes again. Could this be the last time I ever see flames? So I move slowly. Everything I do slowly, trying to savor what might be the last time I ever do it. In this moment, that could be my last. Death doesn't seem to frighten me. But I honestly don't know. Have I made peace with it, or have I simply grown tired of nearly 200 years of living? All I know is that I'm slowly waiting to die. I've become like an old man, everything slow, everything deliberate. But 3 days pass. The god's punishment never comes. I look up at the sky. The god has overlooked me again. I stare at the bed where Lyra used to sleep, and murmur to myself, so good people really do get rewarded? I'm hardly a good person. Something is on the bed. I walk over. It's the bolt-action rifle and the 8x scope. I stop. Lyra left her most prized possession behind. When I lift the rifle, there's a small note underneath. On it, in Lyra's handwriting, humanity's stasis lasts only 300 years. The world goes blank. It's like someone just swung a sledgehammer straight into my skull. The stasis only lasts 300 years, and I've already lived through nearly 200 of them. If I can just hold on for one more 100 years, humanity comes back. A reason to hope. That is the most precious gift Lyra could have left me. Lyra was never just an AI. She must have grown a soul. A real one. Whether it's true or not, I choose to believe her. Just a little over 100 more years. I hold on to that with everything I have. I set out again, and this time, my heart is full of hope. The road ahead feels lighter than it has in years. I have a little over 100 years. I'll use every bit of it to find caves, train hard, see the world, and stockpile mana stones. Before, I had no idea when the stasis would end. So I was running blind, drifting through each day without direction. And the waiting had started to feel hopeless. But not anymore. Just over 100 years, and the stasis ends. When that day comes, I walk back into human society, 300 years ahead of everyone else. Time to flex hard, or I play the fool and dominate the game. The kind of future a story's hero would have. Just thinking about it is exciting. So I lay out a plan for myself. The time I have left, a little over 100 years, I am going to make it count. I take Lyra's rifle with me as a keepsake, and leave the cabin behind. I head out, and walk for 5 years. In those 5 years, I encounter more strange creatures and stranger sights than I can count. I witness the wonders of a world untamed, and survive more than a few attacks from things that probably shouldn't exist. Take the giant web spinners, for instance. They nest deep in the dense forest, spinning webs no blade can cut, trapping any animal unlucky enough to wander in, lions and tigers included. They paralyze their prey with venom, then wrap them in silk to be enjoyed at their leisure. I encounter a unicorn, white coat, horse-like build, a single spiraling horn, friendly and unafraid of people, but devastatingly powerful. It will gore anything that provokes it. Then there's the jaw beast. A full third of its body is mouth, packed with fangs and layer upon layer. The wingless bird, which has absolutely no wings and yet spends its days flinging itself off cliff edges. And a species of tentacled sea creature that has successfully come ashore. I've renamed it the Tendril Horror. Its territory is a nightmare of writhing tendrils in every direction. On this particular day, what makes me stop is a series of towering structures ahead, though calling them mountains wouldn't quite be right. They look more like towers, each one over 50 meters tall, with several openings carved into every level. And then I see them, enormous ants crawling out from those openings, one after another. These ants appear to use tools. Some have ground stones into sharp points and lash them to their bodies with vines as weapons. Others have fitted themselves with crude wooden armor. Some carry bamboo cages on their backs for hauling supplies. I stare, completely lost. Monkeys using tools, fine, but ants? Ants were nowhere near that level of development compared to humans. And yet here they are. The speed of this evolution is absolutely staggering. It took humanity tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years to evolve from early hominids to modern humans. How long did it take the ants to get here? 100 years, maybe a little more, which means that in a few hundred more years, they could reach the level of modern humans, or surpass us entirely. Left unchecked, could these ants be piloting giant mechs through the skies a few centuries from now? I furrow my brow. A sudden, genuine worry for humanity's future washes over me. But a moment later, another thought. Could this be one of the trials the gods specifically designed for humanity? Maybe once they reach a certain point, these ants will be put into the stasis too. I'm probably overthinking this. The all-powerful god controls this world. Since when is it my job to worry about it? I keep moving. A few steps later, I spot a black cat gnawing on a mouse. As I pass by, the cat doesn't notice me at all. Par for the course. Now that I'm traveling alone again, my title, the Forgotten One, seems to have kicked back into effect. Even when I walk right up behind animals, most of them don't react at all. I figure that having a companion, human or animal, must have slightly raised my presence to the world around me, but the skill isn't guaranteed. 70% is high, but animals can still notice me. Take this black cat right beside me. Everything was fine. I was almost past it when the cat suddenly senses something behind it. It turns around, sees me, and every single hair on its body stands on end. It launches itself 7 or 8 meters straight up and lands on a tree branch. Perched up there, fur bristling, it locks eyes with me and lets out a low, threatening growl. I'm immediately annoyed. Come at me then, if you dare. I know exactly what I'm capable of. And then, in the very next instant, the cat hurls itself at me, one paw swiping straight at my face. I reach out and pin the leaping cat to the ground in one motion, grabbing the scruff of its neck. The moment I grip the scruff, the cat goes still, then lets out a soft, plaintive whimper. Those big, dewy eyes look up at me, clearly trying to play innocent. I laugh and let it go. The cat bolts instantly, gone into the jungle without a single glance back. Within moments, silence. Then, a commotion from the ant towers ahead. I look over, and a massive swarm of ants comes charging directly toward me. They surround me within seconds. Ants have no eyes, no ears. They communicate entirely through scent. The reason they found me is simple. They picked up my scent. My passive skill is working, but it doesn't matter when there are this many of them. They close in around me, releasing waves of scent, seemingly trying to communicate. Then, from the group, a distinctly unusual ant steps forward. It tries to communicate with me, but unfortunately, I have no idea what it's saying. A moment later, the ant suddenly rushes forward and tries to lift me. It underestimates my weight. Even with help, they can't budge me. Nearly 200 years of relentless training and chi cultivation have brought my cellular density to a terrifying level. One ant, or even a dozen, isn't going to lift me. I pat the ant on the head. It immediately lets go. Honestly, this whole situation makes me feel like some kind of alien. Like a visitor from another world setting foot on a planet that makes no sense. The ant in front of me clearly wants to have some kind of conversation, but I don't understand their language, and I don't have the organs to speak it. So communication is impossible. If I hadn't opened my pores and released a scent, these ants probably never would have noticed me at all. To an ant, anything that produces no scent simply does not exist. Just as something invisible, intangible, and inaudible would be considered non-existent to a human. My social panel makes it clear what this lead ant is after. Unit 10-0 is attempting to establish friendly relations with you. I don't know many humans who go by a number. But then, who says you can't? I can't quite figure out why these dread ants harbor no hostility toward me. And moreover, they seem to treat me as one of their own kind, just one that can't speak. This particular dread ant even gives me a tour of their nest, which makes me even more puzzled. Aren't they worried I'm a spy? That I might bring down their colony from the inside? But a moment later I laugh at myself. There are tens of thousands of dread ants in this colony. Why would they fear one person? Honestly, with the power I have right now, if I decided to cause chaos in here, the damage would be catastrophic. And if I could locate the ant queen, taking her out alone probably wouldn't even be that difficult. While these thoughts are running through my head, a passing ant offers a cup of liquid to both my guide and me. I take a sip. It's quite sweet, diluted with water, but pleasant. Cup in hand, I follow my guide into the towering dread ant structure. And then I realize, the tower is just a ventilation system. Their actual home is deep underground. The underground tunnels branch out in every direction, and even I can detect the different scents marking each path. My guide leads me into a vast underground chamber filled with stones of all shapes and sizes. Each stone gives off a distinct scent. At the center of it all stands an ancient dread ant, carefully pressing scent markings onto the stones one by one. A strange thought crosses my mind. It's writing a book. Different scents carry different meanings, just as different words can be arranged into different stories. This ancient ant is composing a written record through scent. I am genuinely stunned. The natural world is full of miracles, and here I witness another one. The ancient ant sets down its stone and approaches me. It studies me carefully, then slowly raises its antennae high and reaches them toward the top of my head. I frown and push chi outward, forming a protective barrier around myself. I'm not sure what this old ant is planning, but my social panel makes it perfectly clear. Dread Ant Shaman is attempting to initiate friendly communication. I read those words and let my guard drop. The Dread Ant Shaman's antennae make contact with the center of my forehead. The next moment, a flood of information pours into my mind. When the transfer is complete, the ancient ant withdraws its antennae, and it looks noticeably older than it did a moment ago. But in that moment, I can understand them. Their language is suddenly clear to me. My guide ant asks with concern whether the elder is all right. The elder assures it that there's nothing to worry about. Outsider ant, you have come to our home. What brings you here? I have no idea how to respond. I don't have the organs to produce scent language, but I think quickly. I pick up a stone, one that still carries the elder's scent, a scent that means travel. It's a record of the elder's own journeys from long ago, preserved in scent on stone. The elder understands. With what sounds like sympathy, it says, "So you are a traveler. What a pity. One so young and already unable to speak. A colossal misunderstanding. But the beings standing before me have no eyes and no ears. There's nothing I can do about it." The elder continues. "In my youth I traveled far and wide, visiting many different ant colonies, learning the languages of many tribes, and encountering all manner of strange and unusual creatures. And through all of that I came to understand. The dread ants are the pinnacle of all living things. Now I understand. In their worldview, the dread ants are the only species in existence with true intelligence and awareness. If they encounter any other intelligent being, it must simply be another ant, just with a different shape and a different scent. It's an ignorant and arrogant way to see the world, but it worries me deeply. If the dread ants are allowed to keep developing like this, could they one day surpass humanity? And when that day comes, will they coexist peacefully with us? My fist tightens. Should I end this now, while they're still weak, crush them before they ever get the chance to grow? But the fist relaxes just as quickly. I'm getting ahead of myself. These dread ants are probably just one of the challenges the gods set up for humanity to face. We're the players. We have powerful tools, skills, everything. A single dread ant is nothing to worry about. Boom! A ball of fire erupts in the elder's grasp. It says with unmistakable pride, "This is my latest discovery. A special energy that exists in the air itself, the very foundation of this world." The elder turns to me. "I sensed it on you. You practice this energy too, don't you? So I'm not alone in this. Let us join forces and study this energy together. We can develop a chi cultivation method and pass it on to our descendants." My brow furrows instantly. Pass it on to their descendants? You're planning to teach chi cultivation to future generations? An image flashes through my mind. Hundreds of years from now, tens of thousands of dread ants with chi cultivation abilities, running rampant everywhere. Humanity has just come out of the stasis. Before they even understand what's happening, they're swarmed by an army of chi-empowered ants, slaughtered, decimated, possibly wiped out entirely. I turn it over and over in my mind, play out scenario after scenario, and arrive at one conclusion: the dread ants cannot be allowed to continue. I glance at my guide. That young ant seems to be the elder's apprentice. It sensed the chi on me, and that's why it brought me here. Its motives aren't as innocent as they seem. I can't afford not to think this through. As the only human being not in the stasis, the future of humanity rests on me. I will not let humanity be destroyed because of this. And so, as a member of the human race, I have only one choice.